Hey, this is Jay Atluski, Desert Home Premier here in Arizona. Today I want to talk about what we all expect to be a bit of a market shift. Now, some areas of the country are already starting to experience a slight slowdown. Phoenix doesn't happen to be one of those. We're still very hot, but we know that potentially, or most likely, it will come at some point, always does. So a couple of things that Tom Ferry put out, that's our business coach, that made me think about doing this today are a couple points about a market shift and where a real estate agent can really fit in. So the first thing you need to be doing is educate yourself on the market. What is the market really doing? Because all of your clients have a different idea of it. Even agents, if they're not a real busy agent, the market's slowing down. If they're a busy agent, market's hot. Go out and look at the numbers, track the numbers. It doesn't take long in our MLS to get those numbers and to see what areas are growing, which ones aren't. And then you need to communicate that. So you need to be able to talk about trends. You need to really, what I'm talking about here, as Tom mentioned, is educate the consumer. What is it that the consumer needs to know about a potential market shift? One thing we know from Steve Harney and interviews with Tom is this market shift is going to be a lot different than the recession we had. People have equity we don't see, and nobody's talking about a huge recession. It'll be more of an economical slowdown, which will then slow sales of homes down, but it's not going to be a housing crisis. That's the kind of thing you got to be able to communicate, but if you don't have the numbers, you can't. So the last piece of this market education is once you've learned this and you've listened to the experts, you won't be panicking. And if you don't panic, your clients and your consumers are not going to panic. So really super important. That's why I started with market education. Grow Thicker Skin, this is really talking to the ability to be able to express this and get some kickback or flashback from the consumer of, oh, it's going to be awful. Well, no, it's not. So I guess growing the thicker skin really means that you're paid to solve problems and communicate expectations of what the real estate industry or market is doing right now. And when people disagree with you or have their own opinion, sometimes you just can't fight it. You got to let them understand it the way you are. And then if they'll either accept it or not, but don't take it personally. Don't get upset or panic, because that's only going to cause more issues. Always refine your process, man. This is something that we're talking to our agents now. The days of doing your sales, not needing to know what the market truly is doing, not making your process tighter and better, those are going to go away when we hit a bit of a recession. It happens, every cycle. When things are really good, nobody's paying attention to helping or improving their process with their clients and their business. Things go sour. The quicker you can refine things and do them smarter and better and quicker, the sooner you get back up onto your sales track. The longer you wait to figure this out, the lower your sales go. So it's definitely not going to be a set it and forget it market going into the end of next year or the following. But if you're prepared for it and you've got the processes built to make sure you survive it, you're not going to really have a problem. So if you understand the market, you're able to communicate it and not panic, and then of course, refine your processes constantly, what can happen? Well, a few things that definitely happen is you'll have less sideways deals. You're going to have a lot less people panicking around you and canceling or not buying. One of the scripts right now we're working with our agents is a script on what do I say when they tell me I'm going to wait because when the recession hits, prices will drop 30% and then I'll buy. So when you get that from a client, do you say, okay? Or do you actually have a script that you're ready to present to people? So super important, and as part of refining your process and educating yourself, you'll then be able to keep the consumer, from jumping over the cliff and making it, harder for you to do sales. And ultimately, you're going to build better relationships. So not lying to them, telling them the way it really is, following the trends and communicating that Super important. The last thing I want to leave you with as a tip, two things. Steve Harney at Keeping Current Matters. If you're not following him right now on Facebook or getting his information by email, do it. So it's Keeping Current Matters. His name, the owner, is Steve Harney. He's the one of the few people that actually predicted the housing recession when everybody else was saying it's not going to be so bad. This man knows what he's talking about. And the beauty of us coaching with Tom Ferry is that we get to see all of his information, and he takes the information right from the experts, digests it, and then puts it back out for us to understand. There's a webinar coming up with Steve and Tom. I forget if it's this week or next, but go double check, because that would be a great interview to watch. In fact, when we get this up on the site, I may go look and see what that day is for you. So I'm sorry it's a long video, but it's super important. When the market shifts, which we all know it will, you're prepared, your business doesn't suffer because of it, and you're able to help keep your past client sphere, the consumers, the people we know, and the people that like us, educated on what the market's doing. So questions, reach out to Cale or I. We're always available to help. If not, I'll see you in the next video.